Everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the god who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
Video games are special. Besides being fun outlets in order for you to play with your buddies, they also present a rather unique and interesting characteristic to media: interactivity. And it has been one of the old tales of the video game medium. How do you properly utilize this layer of interactivity to further and tell your story, to make it unique and not just a movie spliced in between bouts of gameplay? And when it comes to the video game medium, and when it comes to the stories that can be told in said video game medium, I am a firm believer and advocate that the best of the best, the stories that hit the most, are those that are able to properly utilize this layer of interactivity, these unique elements of what makes a video game, to further its narrative and to make it unique. Not to act as a crutch, but to act as the reason that the story works to begin with. And I have been doing a series for the better part of this year, detailing and journeying through my top 10 video game stories of all time. And we have reached near the top of the tower, the penultimate game. And in my opinion, this game tells a story better than anyone else in the video game media. I have not played or seen a video game that is able to utilize the inherent functions of being a video game as well as Nier Automata. And if you want to be technical about this, I guess the entire Nier series would encompass this spot, but I'm largely going to be talking about Nier Automata, because that game in particular epitomizes all the lessons that I try and talk about when I talk about what makes a great video game story. And I have talked about why Nier Automata is my favorite video game of all time, and largely, that reason is because of how the game tells its storyline. It doesn't view being a video game as a detriment, as some sort of obstacle that it has to overcome. It utilizes it as the reason that the story can be told to begin with. It utilizes multiple playthroughs. It utilizes the options menu. I'm not joking about that. It changes perspective. It gives you different routes to take, different characters to play as, changes the perspective, allows you to hack into various enemies, utilizing that hacking realm to further the narrative, has you replay certain sections, but this time with additional nuance, in a way that would only really work as a video game. It utilizes cutscenes, gameplay moments, boss fights, the options menu, varying perspectives, gameplay, dialogue, music, and the world environment itself and exploration to further its narrative themes, to develop and flesh out its world, and to construct the grand epic that is Nier Automata. Nier Automata is very near and dear to my heart. I fell in love with the game when I first played it. It is one of the only games that truly able to invoke an emotional response from me when I first played it. It has one of the greatest endings I have ever had the pleasure of playing through, and all in all, it is the best man versus machine narrative I have ever consumed, point blank. The game is not timid, it is not shy about the story and the themes and the message that it wants to instill upon you. And I remember scrolling Twitter one day, years ago, and finding someone, and I don't know who it is, but someone who was able to perfectly encapsulate why I love Nier Automata so much. Nier Automata is the perfect deconstruction of the human condition, but it is also the perfect reconstruction of the human condition. It'll break down various components, various philosophies, various traits intrinsic to mankind, told throughout and through the perspective of machines and androids. But it won't just deconstruct humanity and tell you to pick up the pieces of the puzzle and to form your own conclusions. The game has the spine to be able to have its own opinions and to tell you them. The game culminates with its own message that it instills upon you. It is a popular sentiment to claim that Nier Automata is a depressing video game. And while yes, it absolutely gets depressing, oh my freaking god, yes it does. I would also argue it is one of the most optimistic and hopeful games I have ever played, because it understands how to tell that hopeful message and those hopeful undertones and overtones effectively, because the writing team for Nier Automata, Yoko Taro included, firmly grasp these principles. They firmly grasp the realities of the video game medium and are able to effectively convey what they are trying to convey in a time-effective, well-thought-out, and provocative manner. At every step of the way, the game is entertaining in both gameplay styling, but also engrossing in its world direction, world development, its cast of characters that it fleshes out throughout the course of the game, and is able to effectively utilize side questing, an element intrinsic to the RPG genre, to further all the narrative themes that it tries to go for, to flesh out its world, to flesh out the characters, and to instill foreshadowing where it deems appropriate. It is not necessary by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a firm believer that being necessary is not a quality necessary to making a great experience, because the side content is able to flesh out and further the narrative themes going on and to make them all the more engrossing, to make the characters all the more enticing, captivating, and memorable. This game contains one of the best side quests I have ever seen in any game. And it's not just a one-off, because I can say that about multiple side quests, or side quest series in this game. The locations are absolutely haunting in visual acuity, but beautiful in their scope and execution. The world changes and evolves throughout the game to signify your progress and the consequences of the decisions and actions that are undertaken by the characters throughout the game. At every step of the way, Nier Automata feels like an epic narrative, properly told and brilliantly paced. The one hang-up people bring up about this game is how Route B is kind of repetitive, but in my opinion, I think Route B is one of the best aspects of this game, where you replay the events of Route A through a new perspective, and you gain additional context, and utilizing your prior knowledge and experience from Route A, you are able to gain a new outlook on various situations. Nier Automata is a thinking man's game, but it does not need to be a thinking man's game for you to enjoy it. But if you want to get every aspect of its beauty, and all the effort and painstaking love and passion that was poured into this game, then you need to think about it. Nier Automata was not my favorite game or my favorite story ever told when I first played it. It grew and enveloped me as time went on, as I came back to the game time and time again. The game sunk its hooks into me and refused to let go. And everything that I've said so far can be taken and holds true for me before I even played Nier Replicant. For when I did, everything that I liked about Nier Automata, everything is multiplied, multiplicatively so. Because when taken as a series, I think Nier, even though it's only 2 games, I'm not including Dragon God here, when you just look at Nier, the execution is so well handled. The underlying narrative about humanity and the struggles for survival and fighting yourself are so strong and memorable that Nier Automata stands alone, and Nier as a whole stands at the top of the hill as a guiding light for other video game series to figure out how the hell to properly utilize being a video game, not as a freaking excuse as to why your story is told the way it is, but as a reason that it is told as it is. The underlying themes and motifs that carry over from Replicant into Automata make everything so much more sweet. The mysteries all the more incentivizing, all the more compelling, and colors and changes your perspective on the world, the characters, and the events of the story to be all the more engrossing, all the more beautiful in their execution. Nier to me is special. I hold it very near and dear to my heart, and no, I didn't intend that pun when I said it. At every step of the way, Nier and Nier Automata are able to intertwine comedic relief in between the bouts of emotional resonance that the game bestills or instills within the player base, and never does it feel artificial, never does it feel unnecessary, at least in my opinion. It is a beautifully constructed game, and the story that is told going from Nier Replicant to Automata is absolutely compelling. And it has me coming back to learn more and to analyze it more every year that I play it. Every time that I think about it, every time I come back to experience it again, I am brought back to those moments where the game had me absolutely by the balls, like no other game had ever done before. Because when a video game is able to correctly and properly utilize the assets of what makes it a video game to further the narrative, to further the themes, and to make the story resonate even harder because it's a video game, that to me is a success. When I looked at the Nier Automata anime before it even came out and said you have to do significant revisions to this narrative because it will not work as an anime, because this story was constructed to work solely as a video game, that is when you can tell that a video game narrative has succeeded in being a video game narrative, in my opinion. I hold Nier and Nier Automata as a series and as an individual experience in the highest of regards. And of all the video games that I've played, of all the video game narratives and stories that I've consumed in both book, literature, movie, and, well, episodic form, nothing blew me away like Nier did, outside of number 1 on this list, which will be revealed when we get there. There is a reason that I crave a Nier 3. I don't even know if I want it to be connected to the story of Nier Automata and Nier Replicant. It is so wonderfully executed, with one of the best endings I have ever seen, that I hope we see this writing team and Yoko Taro make another fully fleshed out RPG experience. Yoko Taro has always been capable of directing incredible games stories. Drakengard is revered. Drakengard 3 is revealed. We ignore Drakengard 2. Nier Replicant and Nier Gestalt's narrative are revered. It took till Nier Automata, when the Yoko Taro method of conveying a narrative and constructing a story was packaged alongside a gameplay experience that was fun and replayable, for it to really break into the mainstream, for it to really gain notoriety. But once people became exposed to it, the outpour of love and support for this story and this style of story became evident. For so long, Yoko Taro games struggled to gain notoriety and the recognition that they so rightfully deserve because they came packaged in gameplay experiences that were just flat out subpar. Nier Automata is not that case. The remake of Replicant, or remaster, whatever the hell you want to call it, is not the case. Replicant has its issues, still. Automata is the experience perfected, in my opinion. Nier Replicant, and especially Automata, are games that, in my opinion, everyone should have the pleasure of experiencing at least once. It won't be for everyone, because of the nature of the aesthetic, the world, and the darkness that the story conveys. But trust me, believe me, this story stands by itself. It stands alone as one of the best deconstructions and reconstructions of the human condition I have ever seen. It does not shy away from certain topics that it wants to cover, and the methodology that Nier brings to the table to convey its story and to make it all the more enrapturous have me coming back for more every time I play the game. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, does it quite like Nier does. And with that, it is impossible. It is flat out impossible to properly describe exactly why I love this series so much in just one video, and especially Automata. And I try to be spoiler-free as possible here, because I think everyone should have the pleasure and the opportunity to play this game spoiler-free once. It is a game, and the game, I will always recommend, no matter who you are. Jmulls, what game do you recommend me to play? Have you played Nier Automata yet? No, play Nier Automata. It has been hyped up and talked about constantly since its initial release, for good reason. There is a reason that the community for this game never faded away, and that the prospect, even the crumb of something new, drags everybody back, salivating and chomping at the bit, despite the fact that Nier Automata ended so perfectly, because that is the level of the quality of story that is being told here. We just simply want more. And whether that takes the form of a continuation or a new narrative altogether, I'll be honest, I just want more. And with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in. Leave a comment down below with whether or not you have played Nier Automata. Have you played it? Have you not played it? What are your thoughts, your opinions, your takeaways from Nier Automata? And if you want to get a little bit spoilerino out down in the comments below, label it as a spoiler, but let me know what your favorite scene from Nier Automata was, yeah? I really want to know. I'd love to see if mine matches up with all of you. Because this is the world my friend tried to save! Oh! Dude, it doesn't matter how many times I hear or think of that scene, it gets me just as hard as the time I saw it the first time. Oof. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll call it there. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.